Scotland, right, people, I see groups and all the rest of it, right? Let me be clear. I wish I could have had the opportunity 4 or 5 years ago to deal with us with the numbers. The question I've got to ask, who is Anti-Corruption Scotland? And let me tell you now, Anti-Corruption Scotland is hope for the people, and we are change. Get behind Anti-Corruption Scotland. Give me a chance to prove the point. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking for money or anything else. Stand by a man, and I'll lead you the direction. I don't want to be, when I say lead, I mean give you the direction to make change. That's what I've got the knowledge.
Guys and dolls, Freedom Dad here, and I'm with Robess from Anti-Corruption Scotland. Thanks for coming on the Freedom Dad channel, and I've been trying to do this for a wee while, haven't we? You know what I mean,
Yes.
try to come together. So can you just give us, first of all, just give us a rough idea, just a quick rundown of what you do, and then we'll get into a wee bit about yourself.
Well, basically attack the system, court system, the government, anything in this legal system, because it's causing harm to the people. The people are struggling in life, paying their bills, feeding their families, getting on in life in general, and they're being robbed blind. And abuse of power. I would say the government, England, Ireland, Wales, and Scotland, the landmaster, these people are extremists, domestic terrorists against the people.
Who are we talking about?
Talking about Stammer, we're talking about Sweeney, and whoever's in the leader of the Irish government and the Welsh government. They're all tyrants. It's all party. This is all done by design.
Yeah. So what are we talking about? So what's your main focus? Is it like anti-government?
Anti-government, 100%, because the people think when they register to vote, they're voting for the people's benefit. It's no, you're giving consent, they're stealing your consent, and they're bringing in Mickey Mouse laws. It's only rules, regulations, and policies, because every government is a private corporation registered and done in Bradstreet, trading for profit. They're not sovereign. There's no government sovereign. They claim to be sovereign. The government's no sovereign. It's the people. The sovereignty comes from the people, and then the lands of England, Ireland, Wales, and Scotland.
Right. So we're talking about like the Constitution, stuff like that.
That's right. They're doing away with the Constitution. They just try to make it illegal. They just want control of the 15-minute size digital currency. This is all about face scanner, face recognition. People need to wake up and put a stop to this all over.
Right. So we're aware of the digital ID, we're aware of digital currency, we're aware of facial recognition, we're aware of 15-minute cities. I think most people on my platform understand all that. But so how do you fight this? What are you doing to actually combat this? Is it basically awakening people online?
I'm awakening people. I go on the street. The protesting side now, doesn't matter if it's England, Ireland, Wales, or Scotland. Protest does not work. Petitions, that really gets my nerve when somebody says going to sign a petition.
Yeah.
Petition is to beg.
Right.
Why? How can you possibly get remedy? A petition, you're petitioning the people that you're fighting against. They're obviously not going to say, all right, we'll just throw in the towel and resign. Petition doesn't work.
Right. So what's the answer? If protests don't work and petitions don't work, what's the answer?
Direct attack on the system.
Direct
MP,
action.
MSPs.
Is that not dangerous for people?
No. If you get the numbers, what people I don't understand is that the people of the power, the people of the authority, and be electing these tyrants like Sweeney, Stammer, and all these politicians, right? They're giving their power away. We're the authority, we're the law, and what we have to do, the courts are corrupt to the core. We have to get the courts back first. The courts is the target.
Right.
We get the courts back, then we take back control. There is no, in Scotland, there's a thing called the separation of powers. In Scotland, there is no separation of powers. You've got the Lord Advocate as a government minister. She's also the head of prosecution.
Right.
And an example, Nicola Sturgeon and her man, 460,000, he's supposed to embezzle for the SNP.
That's right, I've heard about that.
She can't prosecute Sturgeon or him because they're she's a government minister, and that's where the conflict of interest is. There is no rule of law. It's just tyranny.
It's only the rule of law for us, basically, is what you're saying.
Definitely.
So we'll get back. We'll touch back on that and understand what you do and stuff like that. So I've been speaking. A couple of my mates, Roddy, as you know, who has given us this location to do this.
That's appreciated.
He said that he's learned so much from you. I don't want to say too much, but there's other guys as well who say they don't pay their council tax because of you. And so, can you just a wee quick thing about why do you not have to pay council tax?
Right. Well, this is going to be. I hope people. There's a thing called a juristic person.
Right.
A juristic person is something that doesn't exist, but they claim that their law has gave it life. For example, if you work for the council and all council tax there, right? A man or woman, no a finance officer or anything else with a legal title, they can make a claim on something's behalf that doesn't exist. I was at court about 2.5 weeks ago and I challenged the judge and I asked her before I left the court hearing, says, there's a question I have to ask you. And she looked at me and says, what would that be? I says, ma'am, the Renfrewshire Council is a district, it runs a district.
Yeah.
I said, it's a juristic person, right?
Right.
It cannot write letters, cannot answer phones and does not have life. So can you tell myself how the man at the other side of the table can make a claim for something that doesn't exist? She put her head and wouldn't answer me and shut her mouth and try to get me to the court as quick as possible.
Right. So basically, can you put it in layman's terms? Because it is a wee bit much, juristic. It's called
Juristic.
So, can you try and explain it a wee bit? So, if somebody has got to pay their council tax and they don't pay their council tax, normally then what will come out will be a red letter saying you owe this amount of money.
That's right.
So, what would the next step for that person be?
Well, what happens after the red letter? They put it on the sheriff officers, debt collectors,
Right.
right? What happens then is they send you numerous letters to a certain point. If you get to a debt that's over $5,000, they can then raise a court action against you to bankrupt you.
Right.
But they're not actually bankrupting the man or woman, they're bankrupting the person. If you look at every legislation, every part of the legislation, Government Finance Act 1992, it says persons liable.
Right.
A person's a fiction, the same as the juristic person that has no life.
Right.
In Scotland, the birth certificate tells you at the bottom left-hand corner, person or person cannot use it for identification. Top left-hand corner has got a crown symbol. The crown has stole your identity.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
It's a fact.
I get that. So I had a friend of mine, Stevie Baker, in Northern Ireland, and he was up in court. We were in the gallery, and he was sort of going down. Basically, he's on the same path as you. I'd probably like to get the two of you to meet up. I know we've been talking about maybe getting some sort of branch of yourself of your anti-corruption Scotland set up in Northern Ireland. He'd probably be the man. And there's a couple of other guys. I know a guy called Jim, the legal. He's quite good with the legal stuff. But he was in court and he turned around and goes, "I'm a man," because the judge was like saying in the dock, and he wouldn't go in the dock, and he was like, "I'm a man," and I don't really get it. But the end up the judge can force him in the dock and then put him in the cells. You know what I mean?
See, there's a way of doing things, and obviously he's missed something. When I walk in there, like I got a fine recently.
Do you get in the dock?
I don't get in the dock. I stand at the back of the dock.
Right.
What happened is I had a fine.
So why do you not get in the dock?
Because they call it the dock, I call it a box.
Right.
Right? When you walk in, this is a fact, I've had this confirmed with a sheriff called Mongo Bovey, right?
Right.
When you walk in the dock, they don't recognise you, they don't see you, and they don't hear you. And when you use a lawyer liar or a Hura Babylon,
yeah,
you're treated as a child. Right. Somebody else is dealing with your offence.
So you do all your own legal stuff. You don't. I
don't have lawyers. I would never use a lawyer.
Right.
People's under the illusion that they need a lawyer. They don't need a lawyer in criminal matters. They can they represent. So
but it's a bit overwhelming, isn't it? The court of law and all the big words.
It's not even a court of law. It's a corporate place of business. It's all business. It's all money.
Right. Okay. Right. So we're not talking about criminal courts here, are we?
Criminal courts is a corporation. They're administrators.
Okay.
They're no judges. They're no sheriffs. It's all a big pantomime.
Right.
When I had a fine outstanding for 7 years, right?
Yep.
I've had other fines in community service I've not done. So this Paisley Sheriff Court is a jurisdiction where it happened. Right. But because they couldn't deal with me, they sent it to Glasgow thinking that was going to make a difference.
Yep.
I had 15 witnesses that day. We went to the fine down the bottom court, and guys came out. What happens is, this is what people need to realise. When you fill in a form, you're consenting. You're getting them joined with you. Right? So the guys came out and he's looking for me. He's got everybody else to fill in the paperwork. You've got to fill in before you get the fine. And the lassie Claire that I've been working with for years says to him, no point in giving that to him. He's not going to take it. He's not going to. He has to. She says, well, I can assure you he doesn't need. Right? But you can deal with. There's a way to the toilet. I'll be back in a minute. So came back and the guy came out and says, went back in and says he's out there. So he's come out and I've done it for everybody to see.
Yeah. He's
come out and says, there's a wee board, there's a pen. You want to fill in? Don't consent. Right. What? I don't consent. You have to fill in. In my argument, I tied them up nuts. I said, document and verify the findings, facts, and conclusions in law that you rely upon, sir.
Yeah.
What do you mean? If I ask you a question, you ask me a question, you ask me to fill it in, I'm telling you no. I'm not filling it in. Take it and keep it.
Yeah.
He walked away with it. And I say, see all that? You all filled in. You just get them joined. They've got control over you. So anyway, we go to the court, right? The lassie Claire has followed me when I've got my name shouted, or the person's name.
Yeah.
And she waved the rest to come. And they're all, she's like, come. So we walked in the court. The copper stopped it. So I get in. They stopped them. And she says, what you doing? You're not bringing all them in here. She says, I am her. No, you're not. Star Chamber in Scotland is unlawful. And she shouted, Your Honour. And he's looked, a Star Chamber is unlawful. You cannot stop us from coming into this court. It's a public building.
Yeah.
Told the police to let us in. When
Right.
they all let in, what's the first thing he says to me? I'm sorry, there's not enough seats.
Right, okay.
Right,
Yeah.
Star Chamber. When
Yeah.
you're in a closed court, it's a Star Chamber. It's unlawful in Scotland. I don't know about England and Ireland and Wales, but
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah.
And
So that's the problem we've got, because like we talk about the union and stuff, and like I've been doing this for a wee while now, and covering mass immigration and the government and everything that's going on with digital ID and all that. And I find that like we call it the union and the union flag, but it's not really a union, because we've all got different laws, and it's quite confusing for everybody. Do you think they do that on purpose?
it's all done by, everything that this system does is done by design.
Yeah.
That's a fact. I'll verify. Well, let me tell you something. I say this all the time, right? I'm the only guy that I'm aware of that says this.
Yeah.
I'll verify it, and I say here in an interview or anywhere in the street,
Yeah.
under a charge of perjury in any court jurisdiction in the lands of Scotland, England, Ireland, or Wales, Court of Session, Supreme Court, or beyond. There's nobody will say that on the internet. And the reason I can say that is because I can back everything up to the hilt.
Right. Okay. Well, no, fair enough. You know what I mean? It's like, it is overwhelming. It really is. So how long have you been doing this?
14 and a half years. For 10 years, my father was my drive, Mark.
Yeah.
I lost my father nearly 5 years ago to cancer.
Yeah.
And I've never had to fight the same as what when he was there. He pushed me. The man had cancer. He came up. He wasn't well. And this really upsets me, right? He came to the town twice. He wasn't well. I just thought he wasn't well, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know he had cancer. He never
Yeah.
told me. Never
Yeah.
told
Yeah.
anybody.
Yeah.
Right? And that man sat in a van in pain to support me in a gathering in George Square in Glasgow
Yeah.
twice.
Yeah.
And then I found out, he told me one day out of the blue, I want you to come to the hospital with me, right? That was his way of telling me he was dying. And when I found out,
That was your drive. So
he was my drive, mate.
Yeah. So you seen the strength in him. So you basically gives you the strength to keep going. What kind of things have you been doing? What kind of obstacles have you come up against on your journey?
The courts, the politicians. Politicians run away from me.
Yeah.
One time, when Nicola Sturgeon a couple of years ago was running for the election to be reinstated,
Yeah.
I caught her at school, but I didn't have a camera with me, and it was quite busy. And I shouted to her, I says, "Baba, what did you?" She's like, "What is it?" I says, "Where's the 25,000 plus children that's missing in Scotland?
25,000 children missing in Scotland.
Children gone missing in Scotland right now,
Yeah.
right
See,
through the
you
care
hear
system.
about it everywhere.
It's
in
a
America
fact.
and
It's
all that,
it's
yeah.
terrible. And I'm hearing people are coming to me, and I need to find out. I need to research. They're harvesting child's organs to sell them.
Yeah, yeah. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Some things we've got to be careful with what we say.
Can I say something here?
Yeah.
I respect what you've just said.
Yeah, yeah.
But when it comes to me,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not making it for education. I'm telling you a state of fact. So I'll just get that point in there.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I have to be careful.
I regard you, respect you, but
it's YouTube. You know what I mean? It's like you can imagine. You know what I mean? It's like I'm a citizen journalist, and I try and bring all aspects of society, of what we're living in. It's what's there. It's not. I'm not. Making it up. I'm not going out and creating things for content. This is what's happening in society. There's people like yourself and other men doing different things, and all sorts of extremists as well. On both right and left, like you got Antifa, and then you've got the far right with the National Front and the Aryan Front that I've just interviewed. And I don't understand. Like a lot of people seem to have a problem with it, but as soon as you interview somebody, they think you become that. But I'm a journalist. I'm trying to let people know what's going on in the world right now, what's going on in the streets. Bring men like you who are unsung heroes to my platform, so people can follow you, look at your videos, get to know you, learn it a wee bit better, because they're not going to learn everything today. You know what I mean? We're just going to give them bullet points of what you do, and then introduce your channel, put links at the bottom at the end of this video. And hopefully get you the support that you deserve. You know what I mean? So what about money? Does it cost much what you do?
I've never, all the years I've done this, Mark, I've never asked for a penny. You
But
see,
does it cost much? I'll be my
I
next
kind,
question.
I make I pay for my own banners and I pay for the van. I've got a van that was off the road for a couple of years, anti-corruption, so sign rated.
Right,
I'm putting that back on the road. I
right,
pay for everything myself. It does cost money.
yeah.
I've not got a lot of money.
And
I
you
make
don't,
do. I don't ask for PayPal, buy me a coffee, fund me, or anything.
right?
And that's why I stand out for the rest, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of egotistic people out there.
Yes, yes.
And
And I only have Buy Me a Coffee. I do not monetize anything. I've got so many platforms and I get hundreds of thousands of views on some videos and over 20, 30, 40,000 views on Facebook. And I could monetize it all, and each platform, it wouldn't be great, but it would build up, it would all add up. Then there's merchandise and all the rest of it, you know what I mean? But like I have Buy Me a Coffees because I travel a lot,
definitely, you've obviously, if you're traveling, you've
yeah,
got to get
yeah.
some back.
And I
You can't
do,
just buy for everything.
yeah, I do try and keep everything cheap and going long bus journeys and everything like that. But I get what you're saying. I get a lot of flack just because of buying me coffees, and sometimes like my enemies will use that against me, and to take people away from what I'm actually doing. They'll concentrate. Oh, he's got buying me coffees. Like this header saying that there's people buying me £500 worth of coffees, and £100 worth of coffees and stuff like that. And I have my coffees, so it's there. I'm an open book. I don't hide nothing. A couple of days later, he's went and put the list of my coffees up on Facebook and tallied it up. You know what I mean? It was over a year and a half. I don't know what it came to, a few grand. You know what I mean? It's not a lot over a long time, but it proved that he was lying. It didn't make any sense. But this is what I'm saying. It does distract people if you're bringing money in.
Well, the way I do it, right, I've had a few gifted banners, right?
Yeah,
If I was to say something like I needed tools to do the job,
yeah,
I would say to somebody, look, people, I'm looking for somebody to gift me a banner.
yeah,
And what I do is the people that gift me the banner, I put their name on it,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
And how it works is I don't ask for the money.
yeah.
What I do is I
Ask for it.
I
Yeah,
create the banner.
yeah,
I contact the banner people, get it done.
yeah,
And then when the banner's ready, I contact the individual
yeah,
and say, phone the banner people, pay them direct. That way I've no involvement with money. And
yeah.
that way they can never say he takes money. I've never took money.
So, so in the long term, what's your goal with what you're doing? Is it to bring the government down? Is it to replace the government, or what? Because that's the tricky one, isn't it?
It's not a tricky one. There's an easy remedy,
Right,
right? And I'm the only one with a remedy, but I
right.
don't get the opportunity to be heard because everybody's getting money. It seems to be if you ask for money, you get all the support.
Yeah,
When you're a man like myself, a
yeah,
genuine man, does and gives information and get the jail, get locked up and all the
yeah. We're
rest
going
of
to
it.
get to that. Like, but what's your goal, and how you going to achieve it?
I want to bring change to the people. And if we get the people to waking up, stand together, united, we'll bring this government down. I want to
So,
bring the Scottish government down.
are we talking about bringing the government down by voting for somebody else?
No.
So how are we going to how's the country going to run if we got no government?
I want people government. If people pick the government, that way we get rid of the corporations,
Like,
get rid of all the corruption and tyranny.
like, like populist vote, like in America where we got one like a president, maybe.
No, just you could still have the 129 people, no politics and lies, right? 129 people picked by the people. We take back all the services. We've got all the money, and we can. The thing of the matter is, you can a government, right? I think Hitler did it. Can print your own money. There's no interest or
Yes, I've
debt.
heard that quite a lot.
There's no
I've had
interest or
discussions
debt.
with so many guys in so many different parts of Great Britain about that. We talk about independence as well, and it's been a big topic. And I've had quite a lot of debates with guys, not on camera, but and that always comes up.
See the thing you've had a thing that I'm always arguing with people about independence.
Yeah,
Sweeney's shouting about an independent Scotland, right?
yeah,
The funny thing is, Scotland is independent. Ireland is independent. Wales and it. It's only the Act of Union is binding us. Corporations signing contracts and they're screwing the people because the
but
people. Did you sign that? Did you sign the Act of Union?
no, I didn't.
Did you give consent?
No.
Well, so how does that affect
I
you?
was born in it.
I know,
as a
but
unionist.
I know, but how does that affect you if you've not got consent? If they're stealing people's consent,
Yeah,
people need to really waken up.
yeah. So and just talking about touching independence. What's your opinion on independence? Because it's quite controversial, and because of the unionist thing. Now, I'll just put this out here now. Like I cover this all the time because I'm down in England quite a lot, and I've seen the changes. And come on, Glasgow's changed. Glasgow has changed.
They're destroying Glasgow deliberately.
Unbelievable,
50 minutes side. They're starting to do all sorts of roadworks so you can't drive up the streets.
But I'm talking about like the demographic of
That's right.
immigration. It's quite remarkable.
Well, the thing in the matter is, right, I've got a strong view on that, right? And the main view I've got is people call me a racist and a Nazi, right?
Yeah,
I'm not a Nazi or racist, right? We've got people coming into this country that have no rights to be here. I don't care who says what.
Yeah.
And they're raping, abusing their sons and daughters.
Yeah.
And in Ireland as well, Wales, it's worldwide.
Yeah.
It's done by design.
Yeah.
Your government's sitting back and they're doing nothing. There was a guy recently, a couple of months ago, I think it was last year, was charged with raping. I think it was a wee guy, a wee girl or a wee boy. He got away with it because
this is Falkirk. There's been a couple of incidents in Falkirk. I reported.
I'm not sure where it was, but
last year,
the guy walked out of court. The judge let him out of court and let him walk away after raping somebody's son or daughter.
Yeah, I've heard of that. They seem to have this opinion, or the judges seem to think because they come from other countries where the age of consent is a lot lower than here.
That's sure it counts here.
Yeah.
Well, when you look at a Labour government, they were wanting to drop the age of consent to 10. One of the women, I can't remember her name, she was wanting to drop it to 10.
Right. So, and then to continue what I'm talking about the union. So what I'm trying to say, guys, is like I always say, you know, to my unionists, the union politicians who are sitting on their hands right now, are wringing their hands, going, "There's not a lot we can do." You know, Scotland is changing. England is being replaced. There's, like I say, I'm not going to keep, because I sound like a stuck record going on about all these cities, Rotherham, Rochdale, Luton, Leicester, Birmingham, London, and the rest are cities that will never be English again. You know. And then we're up in Scotland here, and I see things that upset me. I get emotional. I get really emotional because I've always loved Glasgow since I've been a wee boy. I've always came here. But what I'm trying to say is you know, we all fight for the union in Northern Ireland, but in reality, it's getting taken away from us without us having even a vote, because it's not going to represent us anymore. Eventually, it is going to be Islamic. There's no two ways about it. It is going to be. London is the majority foreigners now, and Birmingham is more or less 95, 90. I don't know the facts, but it is up there to near full replacement. Leicester is not faring too well. Luton, as you know, where Tommy Robinson comes from, you know what I mean? He's been banging on about that for a long time. So, you know, I have said about Scotland will most likely be independent. The last time Scotland done an independence vote, it was 49 to 51.
That's right.
In favour of the Unionists. Like, and today, I do believe if there was an independent vote, Scotland would win that vote. And I think anybody that doesn't believe that aren't on the ground and don't see what I see. Unionists in Scotland are so disgruntled with what they're seeing from Parliament and the government in London that they will believe that the only way of saving Scotland is by cutting ties and reversing immigration and stopping mass immigration and putting their people first. Do you agree?
100%.
Yeah, and that's tough for me as a unionist. You know, they say, but it's facts. You know what I mean?
The only downfall about independent Scotland.
Yeah.
The SNP want to take you back into Europe, which
Yes,
is a bad idea. That's open borders and all the rest of it. So how can you be independent
I know,
if you're
but
going?
I imagine. Do you think the SNP will go back in? Who else is there? There's SNP. You got Labour. What the SDP? What do you think of them?
I don't pay much attention to them.
Right.
To tell you the truth. The thing with Nigel Farage, they're all shouting about vote reform in Scotland as well. He's one of them.
Yeah, he's that's the new Labour. I said, well,
if he gets into power, he thinks he's going to be the Prime Minister. That's right.
Yeah.
If he gets into power, he's wanting to do away with devolution in Scotland. He wants to shut the Parliament down, and he's wanting to cut. They're saying in England they keep us. Yeah. We keep them.
Yeah.
And that annoys me.
And I'm worried about what he's planning for Northern Ireland as well. That's quite scary. What I imagine that whether it's the SNP it'll only be the SNP that will go for this independence, and I imagine they've learnt their lessons. You know, one of the most ironic things with the last one was they were wanting to go for independence and leave the Union of Great Britain, but wanted to join the Union of Europe. So there was no independence, really, was there?
No, that's control mechanism. And the thing is, where are they going to get the money? Right, Scotland's only got I don't know how many million now. It's just over 5 million, right? Say for example.
Yeah.
Where are we going to get the money to pay their membership?
Yeah.
They can't even look at what they're doing with the taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
Like a High Court ruled that man or woman was the status of individuals,
Yeah.
and they've just get 3,100,000 to the mob that they're supposed to no interfere and get involved in. They're getting people's money, getting people's money away.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So we're talking about independence. So, and we're talking about you want to change the government. The government is completely corrupt.
Oh, that's right. Every government is corrupt.
So
they don't
how
want
have
for
they
the
got
people.
away with it for so long? Why do people not realise this? Do you think the mass immigration is starting to get people's heads to look up right now?
I think it's the fact that the sons and daughters. I was up at Falkirk last week. I'm going back up there because I was kind of disgusted with the ones at my side, because the way they're dealing with things is you've got guys down at the end of the fence, you come ahead and cussing and swearing. That's not the way to deal with it.
Yeah, of course.
Right? You've got to educate this.
Optics. It's all about the optics.
You've got to educate the other people that think the refugees are welcome, right? So the question I'm going back up to Falkirk. I get a finger. Somebody gave me the finger, and I put 4 fingers up. Says I can count to 4.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That was me being smart.
Yeah.
I get called a Nazi and a racist. Right.
Right.
I wasn't going to go back up, but that's out of way at me, and I'm going back up because I want the loudmouth at the other side with a loud tell its real name at the other side.
Yeah.
And basically, these people that shout refugees are welcome, right? Yeah. Firstly, they're psycho-conditioned dummies that doesn't understand implications, right?
I think most of them are students. Most of them don't have children. They're not invested in the country. That's because I do so many demos, and I do look at the left, the far left, as you before you want to call them, the students. They're all universities, mostly all university students. Then you've got your middle aged that don't have any children, and they've got cats instead of children. And then you've got the foreigner element as well, who are quite happy with more migrants coming in, because the more come in, then they'll be in power. They'll be powerful because they'll vote for whoever's bringing them in, like SNP, Labour.
That's why they're bringing them in.
Yeah, of course. So that's a problem, isn't it?
That's a mega problem. They're trying to
it makes your life harder for what you're trying to do, because now in like Northern Ireland, we are going to have foreigners voting for Sinn Féin. In England, we've seen with the Green Party, they're running away with stuff, you know what I mean, because of foreigners. And SNP will get the foreigner vote because their refugees are welcome, you know what I mean. And this is what it's all about. People need to. That's a good starting point to get people to wake up. Look what our government are doing.
Well, one of the things is, I went to a community meeting about last year. The people in the area voted for no psychopaths, not that right. They amended it, and they're still pushing the issue, and they're still pushing it just now. I put a video up there at the Pearce Institute. I says, I need people to turn up here and back a man, right?
Yeah.
We're going to stop this vote. 3 people turned up, right? And the rest in there voted for everything they want to do. Now, this is what I'm going to say to people. When it comes to community meetings, people, if you don't agree with somebody, get the numbers up there. And it goes to a vote, what the highest number is, the decisions made at the community meeting. So what you have to do is get the opposing party that don't want it, and large numbers go there and vote against it and nip it. Now, I was talking about corporations, and I ended up let rip in that Pearce Institute. And we had an ex-politician, Deirdre Gawkin, her name is. She shouted I was to shut up. I had no say in the matter. Now that's what I'm to equal. We're all equal.
So what's the problem? Why are people not coming out and supporting a genuine? You have genuine concerns. You're talking about. There's nobody else probably right now that's on the button with us. You know what I mean? So why are people asleep?
There's 2 reasons. They're too comfortable in their home. Well, it's not came to their door yet, but it's coming in their door. It's coming to everybody's door. It's just a matter of time. I've told that to
you. But will it not be too late then when it's at everybody's door? Because then we're talking.
That's what I'm saying. That's why.
We're talking digital ID. We're talking.
That's why people need. The other thing is, the people are indoctrinated with the politicians all their life. They're indoctrinated with liars, and they believe liars instead of the truth, and they don't like the truth. What I say is, they can't handle the truth. That's the problem. When people hear the truth, and it is the truth, because they've been lied to that much, they can't handle the truth because they've indoctrinated themselves to believe tyrants.
So do you believe every single politician, like even our ones, are all corrupt?
100%.
I believe that too. I believe that too. I believe they wouldn't be in power if they weren't corrupt.
It's all a theatre. It's a pantomime. They're all actors. Judges, all actors. Politicians, all actors. It's terrible.
Yeah. So that's a good point to get across, because then people will understand in Northern Ireland why we're in the problems we've got. Why we are seeing parts of Belfast being replaced, and we see like the constant attacks on me, Freedom Dad, you know what I mean, from the papers and from people in my own community. And, all I'm trying to do is get the word out, the truth out, and trying to be a good citizen journalist for my country. So tell me about some flack. Have you been arrested?
Up to times.
Yeah, so
they came in my door one night. I bought a wee Chihuahua dog, right? Cheeky boy, his name is.
Yeah.
And he was only weeks old. I'm lying watching the DVD and he started barking for no reason. And I'm like, shut up, you. And I was roaring him, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know there were 13 police outside my door. He was letting me know. I thought he was just barking.
Yeah. So what was that arrest for?
Putting a judge into a state of fear and alarm and distress because I challenged his authority. And plus I put a video up after it. So that was what they came for. They came for the computers, the hard drives, the phones.
Right.
He says to me, they chapped the door and he says to me, they all came in uniform with their hats on. Yeah. That's unusual because they know I know the game.
Yeah.
He says, open the door, please. I says, what is it? I don't require any services for you clowns tonight.
Yeah.
And he said, open the door, we'll put it in. I said, well, I'll put a curl on me, I've got a tailgate in the living room when you come in.
Yeah.
And they took him about 10 raps with that red ping for batting the door.
Yeah.
And I was standing with boxer shorts on and I just stood in the hall. I decided no. And when they opened the door, they were afraid to come in the door because they were wondering why I was still standing there. They didn't know what I was up to. So what's the problem? Look at the amount of use compared to one man and a dog.
Yeah. A wee Chihuahua.
A wee Chihuahua was only weeks old. It was funny.
I see. I've got a video. I'm going to put it up. So I'm now.
Robert!
That's not the order.
That is the order.
No! Robert! That's his name, Robert.
I know.
You're out of order doing this!
Robert!
Robert! Get out of order!
Everybody away! Everybody away! Everybody away! Go away!
So that was when you got arrested. Where was that? Was that
at my home, Kenny Park?
What is outside? The one that's outside. They've just seen.
That was in Argyle Street.
Argyle Street.
That's the one who was shooting free Robess.
Yeah. What happened there?
And what happened is that we had a gathering there and we were talking about the child abuse and we had a good conversation. But we were up at George Square, but they had how can I say, a coloured gathering up there. And the police says they were going to take another half an hour. So I says to the people, let's get down, we'll move. And they followed us down. But what happened is then they got a massive number of police down.
Right.
Because I knew they were coming for me. They're terrified for me because of my knowledge, not because I'm something special. It's because I know how the game works.
Yeah.
And they when we were all hanging, a couple of guys swore when we were on the mic, and I says, listen, there's no need to swear, get your point, there's kids here, wrap it, or you get off the mic. So I've pacified that, and then I've seen all these ballers, and they're looking at me, and I says to my friend Laura, she was part of Anti-Corruption Scotland, she deals with the 5G, to awaken the people for that. I says, get me some people with cameras. I need to go down to them because I don't want them coming into the crowd of people when there's Wednesday in case there's commotion and the Wednesday get hurted. So I went down and I says to them, how can I assist you, Constable? And they asked me my name. I says, I'm not giving you the name, sir. You're dealing with a man, you're not dealing with a person. You can hear it in the video clear what I says, right? And then I got arrested. And as you seen, people were really upset about that because I never done nothing wrong. I wasn't even on the mic. And there were people. I was some buzz that day. There was people in the town that had nothing to do with what we were doing, and they were all gathering shouting "Free Robess" as well. And as you heard in the video, the echo was there.
I'm going to because I'm just thinking as you're talking there, because I've mentioned before, Stevie Baker, he's been doing this kind of thing for a very long time. You know what I mean? He was doing the COVID stuff and all that. So I think I'd like him to maybe come over, and meet you, and maybe go to some demos, and maybe you can come over and.
I would love to. I've never been in Ireland. I've heard it's a nice place.
Definitely hook you up with his phone number after we've done this. I'll give him a wee phone while we're here and introduce to him on the phone. So this is let my guys know this is the kind of thing that we do. This is networking. This is this will help us in Northern Ireland because it's too much for me. I'm doing when I'm on a path. I know my path. I'm fourth gear. I know exactly what's coming, and all the rest of that. I've got a plan in my head what I'm doing. But I know this is right up Stevie Baker Street. You know what I mean? And he would probably love to get you over to speak.
What was I going to say? There's a proposition I was put to your guys over there. We've got Anti-Corruption Scotland here. I've been trying to build a system. I'm thinking what would be good is
Anti-Corruption Northern Ireland.
Right? And the reason for that, it's not because I'm trying to do something. They had an agenda. I'm thinking if we could get even Wales and England involved, we've got a network where we have all different knowledges in different parts of the corporation known as the United Kingdom. People think that's a country. It's not. It's a corporation. If you look at Great Britain, it's all hangs in the picture. But when you look at United Kingdom, it's blank because it doesn't exist. But I think with the knowledge in Northern Ireland, Scotland, we can all put that knowledge together and work together as a team and get the numbers all over the 4 jurisdictions to come together and let's take this system down.
Well,
that's what I want.
That's a really good idea, and you guys can hear this. Get in touch with Freedom Dad. Like I say, I'm going to connect Robert with Stevie and see if Stevie's not up for it, and if anybody else wants to step up and maybe take on this challenge, if you get free time and stuff like that. Like I say, the link to his social medias will be in the description, and you can reach out to him and make friends and what do you call it, brainstorm, you know what I mean? Because we're living in very different
dangerous times.
Very dangerous times, and people don't realize that we're involved in this. We didn't ask to be, but we just happened, Generation X men like us, who have got the experience of life, we've got lived experience, and we find ourselves in a situation right now that is quite remarkable, not just with mass immigration, but with the digital and,
It's all about control. This is, all the people have to look at is China. Look at the tyranny they're using against their own people.
You'll give some ideas what kind of things going on in China that they're trying to implement.
It's my understanding, when you go to certain parts of the city centre, you've got to show face recognition. You go through gates and all the rest of it.
A lot of people would say then, but if you're not up to no good and you've got nothing to hide, then why would you worry about that?
Well, why would we worry about it? Because we don't need to worry about it because we were all right until this. Their propaganda, their psycho conditioning people who say there's extremists here, there's terrorists here. The terrorists is them. They bring the terrorists in this country. And my concern right now with the Iran thing, they've got terrorist cells sitting all over the world.
100%.
Right? 100%. And if something came to my attention with a lassie, I can't remember her name. She says you can check the Metropolitan website. There's an imminent threat that Waynes are going to be attacked in schools.
I've heard that.
Right, and it's supposed to.
And I can see that they're like anything around the school right now. They're right there. They're shutting everybody's kids around the tables. There's been quite a lot of incidents because people are nervous because of that threat. I've heard about it, but it's not widely known.
The lassie made it clear. on her video yesterday. I'll need to get her name. I'll send her name right. It tells you can check the
Well,
metropolitan.
can you get the video for me after this, and I'll put the link in?
Right. Well, I'll try and find the video.
Right,
If it's still
okay.
there,
If,
right?
if we find it, I'll stick the link in the description. You can send it to me. I'm going to be editing this afternoon.
What I'm going to say to the people is you need to start looking after your sons and daughters. Right now, they're at risk, not just with these people causing harm, they're at risk with your own government. Right? The social services are going to take your wins. They're going to lock schools down and you're not going to get access to them. And this is where you people have to step up to the mark. If there's any doubt in your mind that your daughter, son is coming to harm, you need to remove them from the school and homeschool them, right? And protect them. Because right now they're at risk. The system don't care about your sons and daughters. They don't.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping my baby's mama watches this. I doubt it, like, you know what I mean? Because I've always been an advocate for homeschooling. I do not want my child to go through this left-wing ideology that's being pushed into our schools and colleges right now, because it's breaking my heart. It's an attack on the birth rates. You know, like I say, more people are dying than we are having children, and it's all to do with children being taught LGBTQ at a very young age, and these planting these things in their heads, and the boys can go with boys, girls can go with girls, and that does cut the birth rate down, you know what I mean? Along with abortion and everything else, you know, the cost of living, and the government saying, oh, wait to have a family. Well, people can't even have it for it. You know, I've been told, this is the first time ever in my time where I've seen men and women having to go out and work. You know, we're probably paying the most right now for gas and electricity. We were we were paying the second most in the world. Like in the UK, we were paying the second most. Our country, it's done so well for hundreds and hundreds of years. All of a sudden, we're paying the second most for gas and electricity. That's ridiculous.
I'll give you an example. I've got two friends. I'm not mentioning their names, right? Because it wouldn't be right to mention their names without consent, right?
Yeah.
The woman and a man has two kids.
Yeah.
They've got a house worth about $250,000 plus.
Yeah.
They're paying a mortgage.
Yeah.
They've got two lovely cars, and they've got 3 jobs between them, and they're well paid, right?
Yeah.
So I'm really friendly with these people because I've helped them with issues, right? And the guy I went to see the guy, and he wasn't in, so his missus says, "Come in, get a cup of tea."
Yeah.
And she says, when you come here, you look at my house like it's something special. I says, I wish I had a house like that.
Yeah.
She says, do you really want a house like that? I said, are you going to buy me one? Right, it's a joke.
Yeah, yeah.
She says, no, I'm being deadly serious. I said, I don't understand. She said, I'm going to tell you some home truths, right? I shouldn't even tell you that because I'm so close with my husband and you, and you've helped us immensely to sort out problems.
Yeah.
She says, we own this house, we're paying a massive mortgage for it. We want 2 top of the range cars, we're paying fortunes for him. Right? We've got bank loans and other debts.
Yeah.
Right? She says, at the end of the month, when we get our wages, we pay our debts. I says, that's good that you can do that. She says, no, it's not. I says, why is that? She says, because at the end of the month, after we pay our debts, we've got to go to food banks and get food to feed our wins. Yeah. And she says, it's that bad that it was near Christmas time. Yeah. It's that bad that I don't know if I can get a decent amount of presents for my son and daughter.
Yeah,
how bad is that? 3
so
jobs.
When they started, it must have been manageable. Now it's unmanageable. So yeah, it's like people are having to live within their means now. They're having to cut back and stuff. It's not
a case of cutting back. People, they're controlling the people that much. You're going to have nothing if they get what they want in. If you look at some sandwiches in shops right now, they're getting your carbon footprint. Really? I'm hearing in Glasgow. I'm going to do a subject access request. When the cars are banned for Glasgow for the admissions, if you pay £12 a day, you can get through there. Yeah. So where's the climate change? It's a scam.
Yeah.
I go into town with I own the road. I pay for the road the same as everybody else. You're ready to tell me I'm not going to get through there?
Yeah.
And they try to say George Square is different for Argyle Street with there. I don't think so.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I get you. I understand. So what's one of your biggest wins? What kind of wins have you had?
I've had a few court cases stopped in the tracks because I went in as a man.
Right. Okay.
And the one case I get locked up overnight. The judge was a tyrant. They changed the court and changed the judge. And
so that's what happened to Stevie. They locked him up because he'd done the exact same thing. You know what I mean?
But the secret is, right, this is the secret. I've realised I had 15 witnesses me the last time there for this bankruptcy case, right?
Yeah.
4 of them they had court 25. It was a small court. It was just a room like this.
Yeah.
A table, so many seats. But there were 4 spare seats. The sheriff tried to overlook and all let them in, but my friend, this party helped, stands with Anti-Corruption Scotland, Paul Connor, chapped the door and says, we want to come in.
Yeah.
So 4 of them get in. She says, I kind of like you on because there's not enough seats. It's too small.
Yeah.
So she told him to take the 4 seats for the table and put it at the back of the court, and that was the gallery.
Right.
The secret is with everybody is the numbers. Fill that court, and I'm up again in the 2nd of April.
Right.
And fireworks are going to be happening here, right?
Okay, so
and what I'm
where's-
looking,
not literally.
no, just a term, just
I
a
don't want
term.
them shutting the place down
No.
and bomb squad and all that. Right?
No, it's just a term.
Because of freedom dance.
Just a,
But no, so what I was going to say there. So yeah, when's that court case?
2nd of April.
2nd of April.
Glasgow Sheriff Court, and I'm looking for massive numbers to turn up at this court, even if you don't get in that.
What court is it again? It's Glasgow Sheriff.
Glasgow Sheriff Court.
Okay.
It's important to get numbers now.
I'll push that out as well for guys in Glasgow. We've got some boys. John Rankin, you can maybe gather some boys there as well. So I was going to say, so do you help other people out as well? Do you help
Over the last 14 years, plus I've helped many people. I don't brag about it.
Yeah.
I'm
So
a private
you're
man.
getting wins, are you getting
Oh,
wins
I'm getting
there?
a lot of wins. I've got a lot of results.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of results.
Right.
Parking tickets, everything.
Okay.
Bills, everything. Debt
Yeah.
collector,
Yeah.
white, stopped. I watch a lot of gurus on this. They're still fighting with you could fight with their own rules, right?
Yeah.
But I found out in court one time, I had to judge with one of their rules.
Yeah.
I crucified him.
Mhm.
He adjourned the case because I was a checkmate. When I went back, he turned the table on me and changed the rule, and it went against me. This is a game of rules, people. They can change these. This is no laws, right? Law, for a law to be broken, there's got to be a corpus delicti. There has to be a victim. You cannot have a victimless crime. And what they're preaching is law and crimes. Like when you go in for a parking ticket now, or a fine for the DVLA, they're hitting you with a surcharge for a victim,
Right.
like £40 victim charge. For the DVLA doesn't exist. It's an entity, a juristic person. It has no life. Men and women that represent that, the persona of agents or people, call centres, that's what causes the problem. The DVLA. I've asked him, I phoned the council one time, I says, excuse me, I've got a letter here saying I owe money. Could I speak to the man or woman called Glasgow City Council, please? What are you talking about? He said, well, it says Glasgow City Council in the letter. So obviously somebody called Glasgow City Council, I required to speak to them. And the answer was, there's nobody called Glasgow City Council. I said, so what are you doing? Did you send the letter? No. Who sent the letter? I don't know. Are you making a claim I owe a debt? No. I says, well, get me the man or woman. I kept pushing that. He ended up cutting me off.
Right.
There isn't a man or woman called Glasgow City Council,
Yeah.
Police Scotland.
So it's just it's
Gardaí, that's another. Gardaí is another juristic person. Men and women in uniform. Remember this, people.
like the police you talking about. Garda is like the Garda is in Ireland.
I call it Gardaí. You call it Garda.
Well,
Right, I'm sorry I got that
we
rank.
call them the
Right.
police.
Remember this, people. Doesn't matter.
Peelers, we call them peelers.
Doesn't matter what part of the legal system. Judges, procurator, fiscals, police, doctors, nurses, all wear uniforms. Under that uniform is men and women. That's the problem that people don't get. They're hiding behind a mask, a persona, and you're going to be deceived and getting robbed of everything, and you're including your rights and freedoms, and you need to wake up and smell a coffee.
So I've heard this as well. CJ Audits is a close friend of mine. He does a lot of work with the police, and he used to have an ombudsman over here. Police ombudsman where you can make complaints. Yeah, he does a lot of that. So can you sue an individual police officer?
You can't sue a police officer, but you can sue a man.
Sue a man, the constable. Because
That's the thing. This is the thing in Scotland, right? Let me, if I've got time to do
yes,
this.
of course, yeah.
There's the difference, right? I'm going to do hang in the street shortly. I've got the banners. Officer and constable, right? Constable is there to protect and serve and keep the peace. That's their job. That I've got it for the High Court.
Yeah.
With 3 laws that made a ruling on a case. I've got their job description, including their oath, right? Officer is a policy enforcer, enforcing policies like Road Traffic Act, parking tickets, anything with officer as a corporate employee. It's nothing to do. Like when you get these traffic wardens, they don't have an oath. And these community safety officers, they don't have an oath, right? And most of the people in uniform in Scotland can't even recite their oath when you challenge them. They don't even know what it is. And do you know why that is? Because you only need to know it for the day they pass their exam to be a constable.
Right.
But officer and constable, in Scotland, this is if there's any people going to be watching this in Scotland, the next time you're pulled up with the traffic police or any kind of police in uniform under the Road Traffic Act 1988, ask them for their Road Traffic Act licence. They're a private corporation. They're no sovereign. they've got to have a license or they can't pull you up. And when you ask them for their license, what's the panic in their faces? Also put them on the roof as a constable, right?
What do you mean put them on the roof?
You tell them, firstly, you be courteous, you say, you on your roof as a constable today, sir.
Are you on your roof as a
As
constable?
constable. And
right?
most of them will say, yes. Right, well, you've nailed them, checkmate. Right, because that's you now. And then what I say is, I don't consent to you being a police officer, and I don't consent to your rules, regulations, and policies, right?
Right.
And they just look at you. And then I say, now I require your warrant card.
Yeah.
They've got to show you that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I also require, constable, your Road Traffic Act license, and what's their face when you ask for that.
But would that not make things more difficult for you? Would they not just go harder on you?
No, well, I got pulled a couple of months ago, right? For no reason. The coppers passed me, gave me a dirty look, and I gave them one back because they destroyed my sister's whole family. They stole her son, right?
Yeah.
Based on lies, and the coppers colluded in it. They pulled me up, so I pulled up, the blue lights have went on, put the window down. Now I've got their job description as a backup, because once I put them on the office constable, if they type one duty,
Yeah.
what I'll do is I'll email you a copy of that, and you can, if there's people in Scotland, you can send it to them, tell them to read it, study it. That is for the High Court. It
Right.
can't be rebutted, and it
Right.
can't be denied,
Okay.
right? So he says to me, you okay? I said, I'm okay, constable. You are on your roof as a constable, I take it. He says, always. He says, thank you for that. Thanks for telling me that. That's good to know. So what I'm basically saying to him is, I've just nailed you, right?
Yeah.
He says, I said, before we go any further, what's your probable cause for pulling me up here today, constable? Want to do a check? Carry on. So he says to me, what's your name? I says, no, pay attention to what I'm saying here, people, right? Pay attention. The legal person's name is Robert Sproul.
Right.
The two of them have looked at each other, right? Because they know what I'm getting at, right? They went, okay. What's your date of birth? The legal person's date of birth is blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
Now, the trap is, if you says that to me and I was a constable, my question to you would be, if you're not a legal person, who are you? I'm the living man, Robert Sproul. You can't deal with a man, sir. You can only deal with bits of paper with persons.
Yeah.
Right? That was the track, but they didn't fall for it. They didn't go for it.
Yeah.
Is this vehicle registered in your name? Nope. What do you mean? The DVLA is a fiction, so I don't have a contract with it. I don't wish to contract with it. There's no law requires a man to register my property. It's my property. I lawfully own it, no legally own it.
Yeah.
Right? He went, okay, I said, and I'll correct you on this point here. I've already had this conversation with one of your top sergeants in Helen Street Traffic Department, and I've told him exactly what I'm telling you. And his answer to me was, we can only advise to register.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I've heard that, like,
That's a fact. And I'm verifying that. And I'm
No, I've heard
verifying
that,
under a charge.
no.
Under a charge of perjury, right? So he says, where are you going? I says, none of your business. If I committed a crime, he said, all right, we'll just leave it at that, right? I says, let me verify something. Never use the word clarify. That's their word, right? Verify. Only a man or a woman can verify something, so the language is important. I says, as long as this property, as you call vehicle, is insured, then it's taxed and it's MOT'd. There is no crime in law. And
Right.
I've committed no crime here today, constable. And always address them as constable, never call them officer, because you lose jurisdiction, you lose control, and you become abused. Right? I says, so that's the point being there. As long as it's insured, MOT and taxed, there's no crime in law.
Yeah.
Do you know what it says to me? Have a good day, and walked away.
Right. Okay,
It's all in the language.
Just having that information and knowledge in it.
The other thing I'm going to say to people, I watch videos time and time again, people sitting shouting and bawling, cussing and swearing and being threatening. Be nice. They don't like it. Be composed. Right? And that's the secret. And I'll tell you the word controversy. I'm always telling people this and they don't listen. Controversy is what gets you into court. Controversy is what gets you to jail. That's a fact. I've learned all this the hard way. I've changed my strategy and turned it around. I knew the tyrants, but in the courts, whether you like them, hate them, and they're tyrants, you've still got to give them their place. But we get into the courts in honour, right? They're in dishonour. Always remember that, people.
Right. So, what I'm thinking just as we're talking about that, because I can imagine there'll be lots of questions. I'll need to get you on to my StreamYard some night and I can be over there, you can be over here. I send you a link, and you just click the link,
What is it, a Zoom call thing?
like a Zoom call. Yeah,
What I was going to say, we're talking about anti-corruption Scotland, anti-corruption Ireland.
yeah.
Well, that would be a good basis for us to get together and maybe do a live
Yes,
speaking.
that's actually a good idea. We could get Stevie
That's what I
on,
was talking. That's what I was talking
couple of
about.
our
Doing the
guys,
two
but
things.
yeah, that's a brilliant idea.
Unite us two.
Yeah, because
Get
then
the-
you and Stevie can have a chat about stuff on the live, and then we can
Have questions.
hand it over to the community for any questions for all the different parts of the United Kingdom, which is, I think it's probably the best idea, because it is quite overwhelming for a lot of people, and it's mostly for me, but because I'm not clever, you know what I mean? I don't have any education, you know. I do this on a wing and a prayer sometimes, you know what I mean? I'm quite amazed at how I've got this far, you know what I mean, to be honest with you, but it's just confidence in it.
Well, I was at court that time there. I'm up in court on the 19th for a boy. He stood as a man, didn't get in the dock. I told him what to do, and he done everything to a T. The judge panicked. She couldn't handle him because there were witnesses. The numbers, you need to fill the court with witnesses.
Right.
Because that's all affidavits of truth. You can go for a judge for judicial misconduct.
Right.
Being biased.
Right.
I'm just about to do this with a sheriff. I gave her a point that before I left that Mickey Mouse kangaroo court. I says, there's a principle in Scottish law, man. It says that no decree shall be granted unless all parties have heard. I've not been heard. I've not been able to present a case.
Right.
Right. So I'm going to use that against her to the judicial office for misconduct.
Yeah.
Right. I've also told them, I went and had an argument, a polite argument with the court civil manager, and I've told her I require a court with gallery because there's a lot of people coming to this court to witness it, and she went chalk white. I says, the other thing as well, your clerks have all been emailing me. I've got their names. I've now got your name. And if you don't play ball with me and let me be treated fairly the same as everybody else, because we're all equal in the eyes of the law, you're breaking the law.
So the child stuff, the missing kids, how's that going? Is that a big part of what you do?
It's hidden by the media, right? The government is a virus. The media is the spread of the virus.
Right.
So people need to stop listening to the media.
Yeah, well,
read newspapers.
I do believe people are on that now. I honestly believe.
But there's not enough on it. That's the thing.
I know, but more and more people are watching YouTube. A lot of people I know now don't watch TV anymore. So we are going in the right direction. No doubt about it. I think it's going to pick up speed as we go forward, because it's like anything. It grows, you know what I mean? It's like it's spiders' legs and cobwebs, you know, it goes out the way, and people start to educate other people and go, you know, Sky News, BBC News, and I think we're starting to find there's proof that they've lied to us, you know what I mean? And people have lost trust in the media now, you know what I mean? So, it's where are you with are you trying to find the kids? Are you trying to find out what happened to them?
I've not got to that extent yet, because it's a hard one to get the hang of. But we've got a guy, Spartan Gel Protection.
I've heard of him, yes.
He's dynamite. That's a guy you should maybe interview.
Yeah.
And I can get contact with him. This guy is right in it.
Yeah.
And they're exposing people as abusing ways, people that's online,
yeah.
trying to draw 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds to adults, saying they're only kids themselves, totally lying.
Yeah.
Because they want to abuse.
Yeah, I've heard of him. I've seen some of his stuff. He was with
Alex Kearney, his name is.
Yes, that's right. Cause
he's a good friend of mine.
He's had some problem with the law, hasn't he? He's got bail conditions and everything.
The target is because they don't like it.
Yeah. So, do you find that the attack? Because quite a lot of my friends can't go on the internet right now. Bail conditions, and we've got a guy, Glenn Kane. He's been on. We got the bail conditions dropped a couple of weeks ago, but he's been going through this for a year and a half. Why? You know, I know there should be time limits, right? So he was caught with memorabilia, memorabilia, which isn't illegal, right? But the kicker was he had a magazine called Red Hand in the Sand, or Sand in the Red Hand, can't remember what it is. And it's about Islam, warning people about Islam, what they're about, and everything else. And it's truthful and factual. He has a cultural expert who's going to speak at the trial. How can they get away with leaving a man on bail? He had to sign on every week for a year and a half. How did they get away with that?
Because it's not the man they're signing on; it's a person. It's attached to the man or woman. There's a person.
But if he didn't, he would be remanded.
Again, it's a person that gets remanded.
Yeah.
I know it's hard to understand, but that's the way the system works.
Right.
There's a person attached to you.
So do you think it's a
That's
double-
why they say legal person, statutory person, natural person,
Yeah.
human being. That's legal terminology. That's to draw you in. When I go on the 2nd of April, if they try to pull that shit with me, sorry for the language,
Yeah,
I'll be telling
it's
them,
okay.
I'm none of, I'm neither. I'm a living man, and
Yeah.
you'll address me as such. I told her the last time I was there that we had the dispute. She called. I told her when I went in, I was a living man,
Yeah.
and she says, "Thank you for that." 2 minutes later, when she's talking to the tyrant at the other side of the table, she called me Mr. Sproul. The witnesses were looking at me, so I gave her a second bite of the cherry, and she done it again. And when the solicitor stood up, I stood up and says, "I have a problem here, man.
Yeah.
You called me Mr. Sproul twice. I came in here this morning and I told you I was a living man, and you said thanks for that. So as far as I'm concerned, you've accepted that. I'm no Mr. Sproul. I am Robert Sproul. My name is my property, and I will be addressed as such. You don't have or own that name, and the state doesn't own that name. That name was given to me from my creator, my mother and father, right?
Yeah.
I said, I will be addressed. She turned in the huff and says, okay, Robert Sproul. Now, the lawyer, when he was addressing me before that, he was calling me Mr. Sproul. As soon as I get the judge under the thumb, he says, Robert Sproul. How's that?
Yeah.
How is that?
Yeah. Because you're right.
Exactly, because
Yeah,
I'm making a superior claim to my status.
So what difference does it make if they call you Mr. Sproul or Robert Sproul? What does that mean?
Mr. Sproul's a fiction. The all capital name, Mr. Robert Sproul, was a fiction. The Mr. capital R lowercase for Robert, capital S lowercase for Sproul is a fiction.
Right. So what's the reality?
The reality is you've been tricked with the name. They're throwing you into this when you ignore. Well, let me ask you a question, right, Mark? You've got Robert Sproul, all capital, in the other format I've told you, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got Robert Sproul.
Mhm.
When I'm speaking to you as Mark and your second name, who am I speaking to? How do you define out of the names who you are? It can't be done. And what was the thing we were never taught at school? We were never taught to write our name in all capital letters.
Right. Okay. Yep. So listen, I think we should wrap it up because I can hear we've got.
Can I say one thing?
Yes, of course you can.
I would like to thank this man for having this interview.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it thoroughly,
Yeah.
and it's good to talk to somebody
it's a pleasure.
with common sense. And I would also like to thank the people who took time to watch this and let a man be heard on the truth. No conspiracy theories. As I says, I'll verify everything under a charge of perjury. The lands of Scotland, England, Ireland or Wales, the Court of Session, Supreme Court or beyond. There's nobody, and if there is, please tell this man so I know who it is that's doing it, because if they're doing it now, they're copying me.
Yeah.
But to do a claim, that's a serious claim. You have to be prepared to back it up and be right, or you get yourself into a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and I just want to add as well that you don't get enough exposure for what you do, and the people that you've helped, I know of, and the people that speak to me about you, you really aren't getting enough exposure, and it is my duty to bring men like you to my platform, and it is your duty watching this to support this man, to get on the description below and follow him on all the social media sites and throw down some comments and go to the Sheriff Court on the 11th of April.
2nd of
The
April,
2nd of April.
10
sorry.
o'clock. As long as
10
they're there
o'clock.
before 10 o'clock, because I've got to book in.
Yeah, be there before 10 o'clock the 2nd of April. I will be reminding you as we get there because we're not that far away from it, really. You know what I mean?
A couple of weeks.
A couple of weeks away from it, guys. You know what I mean? I'm maybe trying to get over for it for myself. A couple of guys want to come with me, and it's only £25 on the boat. Well, probably about £50 return.
It'll be a good education.
Yeah,
Because I will not.
one day.
This is like the thing, people. I'm prepared. Like, I don't want to be doing that. I'm prepared to go to the jail because I'm right, and when you're right in principle, you never back down. It doesn't matter if you get locked up; you're still right. The minute you back down, you've lost.
Right. See, filming. You can't film in court.
No.
No.
If you had a hidden way of doing that, but I've no doubt in my mind because
You couldn't put it out because you would get done for filming. You know,
Right.
there'd be no point doing stuff like that. You know what I mean?
well, there was somebody filmed the last case, right?
Yeah.
And the boy got wind of it, but he's got kids involved in this case, right? Because he's fighting for his kids, right?
Yeah.
The mother has toxic their minds.
Yes.
She's messing with them, right?
Yep.
A lot of mothers do that just to get
So
back.
we help people like that.
I'm standing with this guy. When I go back to court with him on the 19th of this month, I'll be standing at the dock outside at Wayham in case he tries to sniffle him.
I think I shall get a wee chat with you off camera because I'm going through a wee bit of a problem with my own child. So
No problem.
Right now,
This is another thing, people. Stop calling your. This is going to sound crazy, right? People can't accept this. Property, he or she that creates owns. Your son and daughter, address them as your son and daughter, never address them as children or child, right? Because legal terminology, that's how the social workers get you. It's the word. There's two things happening in the language. There's legalese, word trickery, deception against the people, because it's a language that they've devised that you don't understand. And dog Latin, the old capital, name, black ink, right? What is that you see in a graveyard? Black ink, all capital names on gravestones. You're dead in the system. You don't exist.
Okay. Well, listen, it's very, very interesting, and I'm quite sure there's going to be lots of questions. So we definitely come on and we do a live.
I'm an open book, my friend. I'll
Yeah,
do a live,
brilliant.
not a problem. I'm up for it. I
Happy
want
days.
people. I want people to really understand what's going on here. There's people out there. There's a lot of people out there giving misinformation, and that breaks my temper because they're deceiving the people. And people are getting. Well, I'll give you an example before we finish. I went to court with a guy, and for 9 months we held the judge, and any judge that went in front of him, he wouldn't accept the name, he wouldn't accept the status as person, and the case kept getting put back and put back. But one day I've clocked a judge that he's dealing with. I didn't say nothing to him. It's what I call a hitter. A hitter is somebody that specialises in what I do. They send them for me or anybody that does what I do, right? It knows what they're doing. And the judge says to him, so you're saying that you're not that person, you're not that name? And he says, nope. And I knew exactly what was coming. He says, well, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to give you exactly 2 minutes to change your status and change your idea of what you're saying, or you're going straight to Berlin. I've got a cell booked for you as we're speaking. The boy looked at me and I says, basically shook my head, say, don't move. He's calling his bluff. He probably would have locked him up because that's what they do, right? And the boy, he buckled.
I'd have buckled.
He buckled,
I'd have buckled.
right? And took an aim.
Yep.
And get bail, right? The downfall of this case, right? I worked a lot. I've done a lot of paperwork for this guy. They knew I was helping them, and I really scunnered them, people, really upset them, because I was there and my knowledge was protecting him. I've not got an ego, people. I'm not big-headed. I do this with good heart, good intention, right? Because it's the right thing to do. And if your man Mark was there and had a problem and I helped him resolve it, right? I would like to think it's not about money, people. Money doesn't come into this. It's about honour and respect. If this man knew something I didn't and I ended up in a problem I've never had experience in, I would like to think after me helping that man, he would return that favour by giving me knowledge. That's the way it should work with people. No, money doesn't come into this. Fund me PayPals or cups of coffee, and I'm not saying nothing about his cups of coffee.
Yeah.
The man's travelling doing an interview. No, there's the man's. I respect him. The man's travelling and doing what he's doing. He's entitled to get help towards his expenses because we're trying to educate these people to protect your rights and freedoms and freedom of speech. Now, protest. This is a thing I want to cover before we finish. Listen and pay attention, people. Organiser. Protest is legal terminology that gets people to jail. You get these people in Scotland, they wear blue vests, they're supposed to be liaison officers, right? They'll come over and they'll say to people, oh, who organised this today? And you'll get the daft nump, they'll say, oh, I'm over there, right? That's him done. You're tied to an organisation, organiser. That gets you to jail. So when you're at these gatherings, right, if the police approach you to find out, that's what they do, that's what they're all trying to do
What time
this.
you finishing that? Who's, you know, the kind of questions they ask.
What you tell them is, if they say, would you come to protest? If they use the word protest, shut them down. Oh, I don't know anything about protest. I'm at a lawful gathering.
Yeah.
Lawful gathering, people. If they say, who's the organiser? I don't know. I just came here. I heard there's an event and I've came here to listen. And I've came in my own free will.
That's really good advice.
That
that's
keeps
really
you.
Good advice.
That's the word trickery, people. The word trickery is devastating to you to get to jail. So you have to stop and think. The words are clever words they use. Never accept the word protest or organiser, lawful gathering. I'm here in my own free volition to see what's happening. And that's it. Give them no information. Don't speak to them. You don't need to respond or speak to them at all, people. As long as you've not committed a breach of the peace or a crime, it's done. All right. So keep your 2 points in mind when you're at a gathering. Right? No protest. Gather and get that word in your head and stick to it.
Okay, guys, so I want to say a special thank you to you guys that have got to the end of this to listen to Robert and get interviewed by Freedom Dad. I'm going to reiterate again that you are part of the Freedom Dad channel. You're part of my community, and this is what it's about. This is what it's always been about. It's about bringing you the people, the men on the street who are working really hard behind the scenes that you've never heard of. The unsung heroes. In Scotland right now, and this man is an unsung hero, and you can help so much by supporting him, just by going onto his platform, following, liking, subscribing, whatever. It doesn't cost anything, and most importantly, get the word out there. Anybody in Glasgow, if surrounding areas, let them know that this man's up in court, and it's the 2nd of April. Be there at the Sheriff Court. Make sure you're there before 10 o'clock. And let's try and get some numbers, and then we grow from that. Everybody grows from that, because what normally happens is, just like the demos that we hold, people get to know each other and become friends and make contacts and join up in WhatsApps, and then it just grows and snowballs and gets bigger and bigger, and eventually you have a movement that's unstoppable. And this is what it's all about. This man stands on his own and been doing this. He may have some friends around him, but realistically, he's been doing this on his own. You know what I mean? So it's time to stand up next to this man and make sure he doesn't stand on his own any longer. And tell your friends, get out there and try and understand what he's talking about. It is a bit overwhelming, but I will be bringing them to the platform. You can ask questions, any questions. I might even get some of you on to talk to him personally. I'll put the link in the description. Any of you guys who I trust, who I know that's been there for a long time, can come on the screen and chat. Whether you don't want to be seen on screen, let me know, and I'll take the camera off and just make sure you're hanging. Or if you want to come on and put a wee mask on or something, you can do whatever you want. But I think it's important that we look into this a bit more. We understand it a bit more. We just don't go, oh, that's a bit much for me, or I don't understand that, or that sounds a bit mental. It's not. This is the reality of the life we're living in. We are living in a traitorous government who is corrupted to the core, and it's been corrupted to the core for many, many years, hundreds of years probably. And like I've always said, we need to change the government. I've said this from day one. We need to get rid of the schoolboys. We need to get rid of the millionaires. And we need to put men from the street, who lived on the street, who's got lived experiences from the life that we have lived, who know what it's like to suffer. They know what it's like to go through the hardships, and put men and women like that into power who understand the societies that they represent. Agreed?
Yes, can I say one thing?
Yeah, of course.
In Scotland, right, people, I see groups and all the rest of it, right? Let me be clear. I wish I could have had the opportunity 4 or 5 years ago to deal with us with the numbers. The question I've got to ask, who is Anti-Corruption Scotland? And let me tell you now, Anti-Corruption Scotland is hope for the people. And we are change. Get behind Anti-Corruption Scotland. Give me a chance to prove the point. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking for money or anything else. Stand by a man and I'll lead you the direction. I don't want to be, when I say lead, I mean give you the direction to make change. That's why I've got the knowledge, and most groups out there don't like me. They don't like the way I speak. When I speak, they say the people don't want to hear that. Why? It's the truth. Just give me the chance. That's all I'm asking. The opportunity to show the people I can make change. And we can make change.
Well, Freedom Dad's giving you a chance. The Freedom Dad community is going to give you a chance, and hopefully this is the beginning of a very long relationship. Thank you so much. I'm Freedom Dad, and as always, God bless.